Chicago, wake up! The NFL just made a call on that dirty hit to our QB that's gonna make your blood boil zero. Consequences for the guy who smacked him after the throw. But that's not even the wildest part. There's a 325-pound beast showing up in every single mock draft who could be the key to fixing our defense, even though he's got some serious red flags. And if that wasn't enough, the Eagles are trying to steal one of the most important coaches from the staff that built our best defense in years. Are we really about to lose another key coach? This is urgent. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stick around to the end because what's coming next is gonna blow your mind. Let me tell you something that's got the entire city of Chicago breathing a little easier right now. The NFL just made a decision about the Caleb Williams incident in the playoffs, and trust me, this is huge for the future of our franchise. Here's the setup. It's the fourth quarter of the divisional game against the Rams. 5 minutes and 43 seconds left on the clock, 3rd and 10. Williams drops a dime to Rome Odunze for 10 yards, but what happened after that throw is what's got everyone talking. Jared Verse, the Rams edge rusher, hits our quarterback after the ball is already out. The refs throw the flag, roughing the passer, 15 yards, 1st and goal from the 5. Now let me ask you this, did you see that hit? Because I've watched it like 20 times. And every single time it makes my blood boil a little more. Our franchise quarterback, the #1 pick in the 2024 draft. The guy who just took this team further in the playoffs than we've been in 15 years. Getting popped for no reason after the ball's already gone, and here's the kicker. Verse already has a record with the league. Since entering the NFL in 2024, he's been fined TWICE for a total of $26,880. The most recent one was for taunting against the Falcons in Week 17, so yeah, this isn't exactly a clean player. So the league had a decision to make. Were they gonna fine Verse another $17,389 for roughing the passer? Were they gonna send a message that you can't just take cheap shots at our quarterback? Or were they gonna let it slide? I think everyone in Chicago was hoping for justice, because look, it's not about the money, it's about the message. It's about showing that Caleb Williams is protected in this league, that you can't just hit him late and get away with it. Saturday, the league's accountability report dropped, and guess what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Verse wasn't fined. In fact, nitrogen monoxide Rams player was fined for that game. So let me ask you, again, is that fair? I'll tell you what it is, it's dangerous. The NFL just told every edge rusher in the league that they can take a late shot at Caleb Williams, and nothing's gonna happen. No consequences, no accountability. And yeah, I get it. The refs threw the flag during the game. Verse got hit with 15 yards. But there's a difference between an in-game penalty and a post-game fine. The fine is what really stings. The fine is what makes a guy think twice next time. And don't forget on that drive, we got 1st and goal from the 5. 4 plays later, we failed on 4th and 2 from the 2-yard line. Turnover on downs, 0 points. We lost that game. 2017, 3 points. A field goal would have sent us to overtime. So let me ask you this. What if Verse doesn't hit Williams after that throw? What if Williams isn't rattled and can focus fully on reading the defense? Do we convert that 4th and 2? Do we win that game? Are we getting ready for the NFC Championship right now? Instead of talking about mock drafts, I think the answer is yes. And the NFL just said that kind of hit is okay, that it's fair game. But you know what? There's a silver lining. Williams went 23 for 42 to 157 yards, to touchdowns, 3 picks. Passer rating of 59.3, not great numbers, but and this is big, he wasn't sacked. Not even once. 0 sacks in a divisional playoff game against one of the best defensive lines in the league. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because our offensive line, the one Ryan Poles has been building piece by piece for the last 2 years, finally showed up. And even though Williams took a bunch of hits, including that one from Verse, that should have been fined. Our quarterback got up every time. No whining, no drama. He played through it. This is a 23-year-old quarterback who just took the Bears further in the playoffs than we've been since 2010. Let me say that again, 2010. Last time we were in the NFC Championship game, we lost to the Packers. 15 years. And now we've got a quarterback who, in just his 2nd season, got us to the divisional round, who stood tall behind a line that finally protected him, who's got Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Keeman to throw to, who's got Dander Swift and Kyle Monange in the backfield. The NFL might not find Verse They might say it's okay to hit our guy late. But I'm telling you right now, Caleb Williams is going to be just fine. Because this kid is tough, this kid is resilient, and this kid is the franchise quarterback Chicago's been waiting for, well, forever. Meanwhile, Verse and the Rams are getting ready for the NFC Championship against the Seahawks. Good luck with that. We'll be right here in Chicago, building something special for 2026. If you thought that first story was big, wait till you hear this. Because what's happening in the mock drafts right now could completely reshape our defense. For the next decade, there's one name that keeps popping up when analysts project what the Bears will do with the 25th pick in the 2026 draft. And that name is Caleb Banks, defensive lineman out of Florida. Now, before you say another Caleb, we already got one. Let me tell you why this guy is exactly what we need. According to the NFL mock draft database, Banks is the most commonly mocked player to the Bears this past week. That's not a coincidence. It's not just analysts being lazy. It's because when you look at what this defense needs and what Banks brings to the table, it's a perfect match. Let me paint the picture. Banks is 6'6", 325 pounds, but he's not just a big dude. This is a big dude who can move. He's got a rare combo of size and first step quickness that you just don't see every day. Let me ask you this. How many 325-pound defensive tackles do you know who can explode off the line like an edge rusher? How many guys that size can shed blocks and collapse the pocket from the inside? I'll tell you, very few, and the ones who can, they go top 10 in the draft. But Banks might be there at 25 because he's got some red flags we need to talk about. First, the injury. Banks missed most of the 2025 season with a foot injury. Only played 3 games. For a first-round prospect, that's a big issue. Teams want to see consistent production. They want to know you can stay healthy for a full season. But look at his 2020 for numbers when he was healthy. 21 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. And that's in the SEC, against the best defensive lines in college football. Now, some scouts are worried about his consistency against the run, and I get that. Being a pass rush monster is one thing, but in the NFL, especially in the NFC North, where you face the Packers, Vikings, and Lions twice a year, you gotta be able to stop the run too. But here's the thing. Did you see our run defense in 2025? It was AWFUL. Teams ran all over us. We had no presence in the middle. Nobody who could anchor and hold the line against power runs. So let me ask you this. Would you rather take a guy with some run defense concerns but massive upside, or stick with what we've got now that clearly isn't working? I think the answer's obvious. And apparently Ryan Poles agrees, because all these mock drafts aren't coming out of nowhere. Analysts talk to scouts, they talk to people inside organizations. And when you see a pattern this strong, there's usually something to it. Look, Poles has been clear about his plan. He spent the last 2 years building the offense. Drafted Caleb Williams, hired Ben Johnson as head coach, built one of the best offensive lines in the league, got Romo Duns, DJ Moore, Kemet, got Dander Swift and Kyle Monange in the backfield. The offense is set. We finished 6th in total points, 3rd in total yards, 6th in yards per game. Caleb Williams had a breakout year. Dander Swift had a career year. Kyle Monange ran for 783 yards and 5 touchdowns as a rookie. Now it's time to fix the defense. And when you do that, you start in the trenches. You start with the defensive line. Banks has the kind of raw traits coaches love. Yeah, he needs development. Yeah, he's got to get better against the run. But those are coachable things. What you can't teach is that size, that burst, that natural ability to collapse the pocket. And let me remind you of something. This team has a defensive legacy. The monsters of the Midway, Urlacher, Peppers, Hicks, Mack. This city respects defense. This city demands a dominant defense. So when you've got a shot to draft a defensive lineman with Banks upside at pick 25, I think you take it. Because guys with his physical profile don't come around often. And yeah, the foot injury is a risk. But every prospect has some kind of risk. The question is, does the upside outweigh it? And with Banks, I say absolutely yes. Picture this. It's September 2026. We're at Soldier Field, Week 1 against the Packers. Caleb Williams is running the offense. Ben Johnson is calling plays, and on defense, Caleb Banks is collapsing the pocket, forcing Jordan Love into bad throws. That's what we could have. That's what these mock drafts are pointing to, and honestly, I can't wait to see if it happens. And just when you thought we were done, here comes a bombshell that could shake up the entire staff we just built. The Philadelphia Eagles just requested permission to interview our offensive coordinator Declan Doyle for their open OC job. Let me explain why this is a big deal and why we should be concerned. First, the context. The Eagles fired Kevin Patullo after losing 23-19 to the 49ers in the wild card round. They need a new offensive coordinator, and apparently they want ours. Now some of you might be thinking, wait, Doyle's only been OC for one season, and he didn't even call plays Ben Johnson did. Why would the Eagles want him? I'll tell you why, because Doyle is good, really good. And what he did in his one season as OC in Chicago was impressive, under Johnson and Doyle. Our offense was one of the most improved in the league, 6th in total points, 3rd in total yards, 6th in yards per game, 10th in passing yards. We locked up the number to seed in the NFC. Caleb Williams had a breakout year. D'Andre Swift had a career year. Kyle Monange ran for 783 yards and 5 touchdowns as a rookie. That kind of production doesn't happen by accident. Yeah, Johnson called the plays, but Doyle was the coordinator. He helped design the game plan. He worked with the players all week. He was a key part of what made that offense click. And now the Eagles want him. Let me give you some background on Doyle before coming to Chicago. He was the tight ends coach with the Broncos in 2023 and 2024. Before that, he was an offensive assistant with the Saints from 2019 to 2022 during his time in New Orleans. The team went 41-25, won to NFC South titles, produced 8 Pro Bowlers. Doyle was exposed to high-level offensive schemes under Sean Payton. When Johnson came to Chicago in 2025, he brought Doyle with him, made him the youngest OC in the NFL at the time, and Doyle delivered right away. So can you blame the Eagles for wanting him? But here's the problem for us: if Doyle leaves, we lose continuity. We lose someone who understands Johnson's system. We lose someone who's built a relationship with Caleb Williams, and it's not just Doyle. Eric Bieniemy, our running backs coach, already left to go back to Kansas City as OC. So we've already lost one key offensive coach if we lose Doyle. 2, that's 2 important coaches gone in one offseason. Now, Johnson has said he's fully supportive when other teams want to interview his staff. He wants his coaches to grow. That says a lot about him as a leader, but for us fans, it's worrying because look at it from Doyle's perspective. The Eagles originally wanted a proven play caller. They looked at Mike McDaniel, Brian Daboll, Zach Robinson. None were available. So they expanded their search to rising young talent. And that's where Doyle comes in now. It's a risk for Philly. Doyle's only got 1 year as OC. He's never called plays. But if he succeeds running an offense with Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith, he could be in line for a head coaching job down the road. And for Doyle, that's probably a shot he can't pass up, because in Chicago, Johnson's still calling the plays. Doyle's the OC in name, but not in control. In Philly, he'd be the play caller. He'd run the show. He'd work with all pro talent. He'd get the chance to prove he can do it at the highest level. So let me ask you, if you were Doyle, what would you do? I think he probably takes the interview, and if the Eagles offer the job, he probably takes it. And that puts us in a tough spot, because now Johnson has to find a new OC, someone who gets his system, someone who can work with Caleb Williams, someone who can keep the momentum going from 2025. That's not easy, and in the middle of all this, we're trying to prep for the draft, trying to fix the defense, trying to build on what we just accomplished. Look, I get it. This is part of the business. When you succeed, other teams come for your coaches. That's just how it goes. But that doesn't make it any less frustrating for us fans, because we just had our best season in years. We just made it to the divisional round. We just found something that works. And now we might have to rebuild parts of the coaching staff. Johnson has built something special here in Chicago. The chemistry between him and Caleb Williams is real. The system works. The players believe in it. But if we keep losing key coaches like Bieniemy and maybe Doyle, that creates instability. And instability is the last thing we need when we're trying to build a dynasty. So I'll say this: let's hope Doyle stays. Let's hope he sees the value in what we're building here. Let's hope he realizes that being part of something special in Chicago is worth more than being the play caller on a team that just lost in the wild card. But if he leaves, we've gotta trust that Johnson will find someone just as good, because so far, Johnson hasn't given us any reason to doubt him. So there you have it. 3 stories shaping the future of the Chicago Bears right now. The NFL chose not to fine Jared Verse for that hit on Caleb Williams, a dangerous message. But our quarterback proved he's tough and resilient. Caleb Banks is emerging as the consensus pick for us in the draft. A defensive lineman with massive upside who could transform our defense. And the Eagles are trying to poach Declan Doyle, our offensive coordinator, a potential loss that could shake up the staff. Now I want to hear from you. Should the NFL have fine verse for that hit on Williams? Or was the in-game penalty enough? Should we draft Caleb Banks at pick 25? Or is the injury risk too much? Should Doyle stay in Chicago and be part of something special? Or take the shot to be the play caller in Philly? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is OUR community. This is OUR Bears family. And I want to hear from every single one of you. If you agree with my take on Williams and think the NFL messed up, hit that like button. If you think Banks is the right pick, subscribe to the channel. And if you want Doyle to stay in Chicago, leave a comment and let him know, because here on this channel, we're not just spectators. We're part of something bigger. We're the voice of Bears fans around the world. We're the family that bleeds navy blue and orange. And I promise you tomorrow we've got even more explosive news about our team, because the offseason is just getting started and Ryan Poles isn't done building this roster. You do not want to miss what's coming next for Chicago. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. Bear down. Family, I'll see you in the next video.